Good afternoon, students. Today I'm going to explain the concept of spillovers and their impact on resource allocation and the corrective actions needed. Now, we have what we call market failures. And there are two types of market failures. A market failure arises when, because too little or too much of a good or service is produced by the market system. And two, or the second type of market failure, is when the market system doesn't produce anything or any amount of a good or service. The first type of market failure, which is producing the wrong amount, too little or too much of a good or service, arises as a result of spillover. And the second type of market failure, which is the market system not producing any amount of a good or service, any amount of a good or service gives rise to public goods. Now, there are two types of spillovers. Spillover cost and spillover benefits. Now, spillover cost is when an individual or a firm undertakes production or consumption, and a third party either suffers or incurs a cost as a result of the production or consumption of this individual or firm. And this individual is not compensated for the cost incurred as a result of the spillover cost. Another type of spillover is spillover benefit. When an individual incurs a benefit as a result of the production or consumption of another individual or firm. Now, an example of a spillover cost would be, for example, a laundry firm polluting the area, and when you're walking by, you smell some toxic smell around the area, and this laundry firm doesn't compensate you for the bad odor that you are smelling, and or that you are inhaling. So in this case, this firm is undertaking an action, is spilling over cost to the public or to third parties. And because the third party is not compensated for his or her suffering, this third party, we say, is incurring a spillover cost. But if this third party that is inhaling these toxic fumes is compensated, there will be no spillover cost because he or she is compensated. Now, the other type of spillover is a spillover benefit. As I said earlier, the spillover benefit arises when, for example, an individual who is immunized against measles and polio and this, as a result, this individual does not only incur benefit as a result for himself or herself, but the society at large also benefits from such immunization of the individual. And so now, what are the economic consequences of spillover cost? As a result of spillover cost, we can see in the graph here that here the vertical axis is price, P stands for price, and the horizontal axis is quantity, Q stands for quantity. And so here, so you have, for example, spillover cost, and then here you have, for example, the supply of the good, and here you have the demand curve of the good. Okay. Now, if the firm was bearing the full cost of production, if the firm is producing at efficiency levels, they will produce at the price P1 and at Q1. Okay, this is S1 and this is D1. So, but because of spillover cost, and this, which leads to the firm polluting the air and not compensating the individual suffering from the air pollution, the firm is using resources for free without paying for it. As a result, the firm is in a position to supply, to increase its supply from S1 to S2, to increase its supply. And also, the firm will not only be able to increase its supply as a result of the spillover cost, the firm will also be able to offer its products at a lower price, P2. So the problem here with spillover cost is an over-allocation of resources, an over-allocation of resources. Over-allocation of resources. This is characteristic of spillover cost. Spillover cost is also called negative externalities. Negative externalities. Now, how do we correct? How does the government correct for negative externalities or for spillover cost? So, because there is a need to correct for over-allocation of resources, because the over-allocation of resources is inefficient. And the government has to correct the over-allocation of resources in order to bring production back to efficiency levels, and also to compensate those who are suffering from the air pollution. So, so the first way to correct for negative externality will be through legislation. Legislation to prohibit or reduce the air pollution, the amount of air pollution. Two, a second way that the government could also correct for negative externalities or spillover cost is to levy special taxes on the per unit profit, or levy special taxes on the unit of output of this firm causing the spillover cost. Okay, so now with regards to spillover benefits, we said that, for example, if as a result of your production or consumption of, let's say, education, that you are not the only one benefiting, but rather the society at large is also benefiting from your education. So as a result, there is spillover benefit. There is spillover benefit. So because of that, so again, here's the price on the vertical axis, here's quantity on the horizontal axis. So because of that, there is this is the supply curve, and this is the demand curve. Okay. Again, at the efficiency at the efficiency levels, you have P1 and Q1. Okay. So now, if education, because education has spillover benefits, but the market system fails to capture the social benefits of education. The market system only captures the private benefits of education. And because of that, the market system tends to under-allocate resources to reproduction of education. So in this case here, because of that, the demand curve will now shift. Okay, because of that, the demand curve will be lower here because the market system indicating of an under-allocation of resources. So, so this will be the output. This will be the output the market will produce. The market will produce Q2 instead of Q1. Okay, and at a price of P2. Okay, so because the price is lower and the market will now supply Q2. Okay, and Q2 now will be also the quantity demanded. So now there is an under-allocation of resources to education. So this is also characterized by under-allocation. Under-allocation of resources. Okay, so now spillover cost, okay, also known as negative externalities, is characterized by over-allocation of resources. Spillover benefit, okay, also known as positive externalities, also known as positive externalities, is characterized by under-allocation of resources. So in order to correct the under-allocation of resources, the government has to do three things. One is to subsidize or subsidize consumers' education, which is increasing demand for education. And number two, subsidize the producers of education, that is, increase the supply of education. And number three, in most cases where the spillover benefit is very large or very extreme or extremely large, the government can undertake the production of the good itself. Okay, and such an example would be the U.S. Postal Service, or the tap water utility government companies. Okay, so again, just to summarize, spillovers arises as a result of the market not producing, as a result of the market not producing at the efficiency levels, which is as a result of the market producing too much or too little of a good or service. Okay, and which is also what is called market failure. Okay? Although market failure does not only consist of producing the wrong amount, too much or too little of a good or service. Market failure also consists of the production of a